Greetings and good evening. Welcome to the Viberarian Show. My name is Joelle and I am your host. My goal is to elevate, enlighten, and empower with information that I hope that you find interesting and helpful to you as you're along this journey. Now, I'm here on the Viberarian Radio Network on Blog Talk Radio on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, we have the Psychic Inside Show, where we get to talk with people who are sharing stories about their experiences as they open up to their psychic gifts and abilities. And I'm having a wonderful time. I've had some amazing people on the show, and I've got some really great guests lined up. So if you're interested in tuning in on that, you can catch that on Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. on this same channel. And every Thursday on the Viberarian Show, I like to call this a grab bag. I get to talk about a little bit of everything, Indiana Jones and exploring the mysteries and the X-Files and looking for the truth that I know is out there. So I'm having a great time having these shows, and you can listen in online on the Blog Talk Radio channel at The Viberary, and that is The Viberary as in vibration, Viberary, to see the upcoming show schedule. And also, I would love for you to call in to the show line, which is 646-787-8436. If you're listening on the line during one of the shows and you'd like to come on and ask a question or make a comment, just press the pound or hashtag and the 1 key, and that lets me know that you have something that you want to contribute to our elevational conversation. I also am bringing together a community of people I like to call the Good Vibe Tribe. Now, I believe that we can do so much to pass on the positivity, and so my goal of being active out in Facebook and Instagram and Twitter is to be able to spread the light and the positive things to as many people as I can. So if you see something that you think is uplifting and that should be shared, please tag me at Get Lifted or Good Vibe Tribe and let me know, because I absolutely want to make sure that I send that happy little spark out through whoever I can. Pretty soon one day we'll have more good things than we do bad things to share along, and I want to be absolutely part of that positive energy exchange. Now, on my show, last week, I had, 2 weeks ago, one of my guests, it came up in our conversation that she is a creator of oracle cards. Now, as a Viberarian, which I am a librarian by day, Viberarian all the time, but I love things like cards and books, and I have a collection of oracle cards and tarot decks, and I love to study the things that are, written on the cards and the symbols and the stories that these tell. And I'll tell you what, there is an explosion from 5 years ago in terms of the number of cards and decks that are available. Used to be you would kind of go and you would find there's certain kind of styles and looks that were repeated with a little artistic interpretation, your basic tarot decks and things of that nature. And all these things are what we call divination tools. And what that means is they are a way for people to connect with an aspect of the higher realms. Now, that can be the angelic realms. It can be with ancestors. I'm only dealing with the energies of love and light, so that's what I'm looking for when I look at decks and they jump off the shelf at me. So I was at the local store here in Atlanta just the other day, Phoenix and Dragon, which is up in Roswell, Georgia, and they have, the collection has probably tripled in size in the last 3 years in terms of what they have available to shop. But what I learned is these particular cards that my guest on the show was talking about are not ones that are publicly available. Now, the guest that I had on was Dr. Tracey Johnson, and she is a phenomenal woman and facilitator, and she is, we covered so much on her show, but we talked a little bit about her A.I.R Angelic Cards, and we were only able to cover a little tip of the iceberg. So what I asked is if she would mind coming back on to be the first in a series of conversations that I am going to be having with card creators. There is a whole process that is very personal for people who are bringing in divine information. And I really want to see what that looks like because I can't even draw stick figures, first of all, and it's one thing to have connection with information, but it's also another thing to prepare visual representations of that. So I'm very curious about that whole process. And so the night when I looked at the show, I said, Dr. Tracey, would you be able to come back and share with us a little bit more about your cards? And she thankfully agreed. So tonight, Dr. Tracey, welcome to the Viberarian Show. I'm so glad to have you on this evening to chat with me about these tools that I'm sure you agree are quite valuable. Welcome to the show. Dr. Tracey, are you able to hear me? Well, I'm sorry. It looks like we're having technical difficulties. If you just give us 1 second, we'll see if we can get Dr. Tracey on the line here. Okay,
can you hear me?
Tracey, are you able to? Oh, now we can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Thank you. We didn't have you brought all the way in. Welcome to the Viberarian Show, Dr. Tracey. How are you?
I am great, and thank you so much for inviting me back. It is such a pleasure to be able to share my journey and to be able to share my passion surrounding, what I actually do, and to share my creations that I have channeled and made myself available to bring forth in order to assist and to impact and change others' lives. So I thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it, and it is my pleasure to be on the show this evening.
Well, Dr. Tracey, when we had our interview and you were sharing with us your story, one of the things that came out is that you were talking about this relationship that developed over the course of your life with the angelic realm. And the way that I first met you is that I was up at Gloria Parker's Big Psychic Fair, which is pretty much the longest running psychic fair in Atlanta. And I think it was over a year ago the first time that I saw you. And, of course, as I shared on our interview, I saw you and I immediately felt a connection with your energy. And that's always my indicator that I'm supposed to sit down because there's a message available for me from someone. When you kind of get this little sparkle in your eyes connected, it's like, okay, Spirit, that's a person, right? So I sat down across from you and you began to talk and you said, I've got my deck here. And I looked at the deck and I didn't recognize it. And so I said, what deck is that? And you're like, oh, that's my deck. I created it. I was like, oh, that definitely got my interest because that meant it was something that was like, people who collect things, we like things that are different, you know what I'm saying? And so we want the crystal that is unique, that everybody's like, ooh, you have a, whatever. You want that deck that's like, wow, that tool is so unique. And so I was sitting across from you, and you did this beautiful reading that was different than most of the readings that you would typically receive. It was like a multi-part reading, and we'll get into your process a little bit in just a little bit. But it was so awesome because I had never actually sat across from a person who was the creator of a deck, and you were just real casual. You're like, oh, this is my deck that I created, and then you proceeded to go through the reading. So how long ago is it now that you brought these cards to life and began using them?
Well, the first of all, this is my second deck that I actually created, designed in terms of the graphics, and also channeled the information. The first deck I created was as a result of having a desire to share the information that I had obtained and learned according to the 16 archangels that I work with that had come forth when I first opened up my heart to receive and to take or cultivate a relationship with angels. I actually started out by, I believe I shared the testimony on the other interview, is that a young lady who I would see in passing at a spiritual center. She was a practitioner. She actually gave me a book called Healing with the Angels. And to make a long story short, when I read the book and it made mention that the angels are available to assist us, but they cannot intervene on our behalf, not unless we give them permission or if we're going to transition before our time. And so when I read that, it's like it just kind of like changed my life forever. I made a decision at that time because I had been an entrepreneur since I was 10 years old. And so I, most often when we have a business, if we're practitioners, sometimes we can't afford to hire individuals to assist us. So when I read that in the book, I immediately said, I'm going to put my angels to work. And when I said put my angels to work, I meant literally. So what I end up doing is doing a lot of research. So I actually created my first deck of cards not to do readings. It was to be able to share the information that I had obtained as a result of my studies and my connections with the angels. And as a result of me making the decision and putting my angels to work, I had so much success and, employing and deploying my angels to assist me in my business, and I took my business to a whole nother level. So I actually created a workshop and the cards so that the individuals who was going through the workshop, that they would have the cards and the information about the angels to know which ones they were going to connect with. So, and we fast forward. At the time when I created those initial cards, I knew and I felt in my heart and spirit that was not the complete deck because it was only 16 cards that I actually created. And it was okay because it was basically for business owners and for them to have the information on the angels. So as some years went by, then that's when I actually received the guidance in terms of creating the angel card, the A.I.R Angelic Cards, which the A.I.R represents abundance of all kinds, your inner journey. It's about you, your relationship with you, and then the third deck is 3 decks in one is relationships across the board, not just relationship between a man and woman, but co-workers, family, any type of relation, even relationships with those who have transitioned. These cards point to all of those different areas. So that's the reason why it's called A.I.R, Abundance, Inner Journey, and Relationships, which focuses on the 3 areas that impact us the most on this third dimensional level. And that's how the A.I.R cards came forth.
Well, so why cards and why not a book? I mean, you said you were kind of going through the 16 angels and working and researching all of your material. When did the card kind of concept really cement for you in terms of how to present and work with that information?
Well, the reason why I chose cards, because, I looked at my cards as being like flashcards. Right, and so it was like information instead of a book. Writing a book, it's like because my initial cards that came forth was pointing to assisting business owners, and I know being an entrepreneur myself, we don't have a lot of time to, or we don't dedicate as much time to sit down and read books or whatever the case may be to be able to obtain this type of guidance and information. So, with it being a deck of cards and having all of the information surrounding that one particular angel in terms of how they would be able to connect with the angel and, the different assignments that were given to that particular angel, it was easier to just pull out a card or, to be, if they needed some assistance or guidance to be able to just, lay the cards out and just pull a card or be able to pull the information on a particular angel that they know that has revealed itself to assist them. So it would be a lot easier than to have a book and flipping through a book and try to remember, what angel did what, or just actually having to sit down and read a book. So that was one of the main reasons why I initially did the angel cards, because again, it was like it was a tool that was provided for the individuals that were going through the angel workshop. So, and it was easier for them to, be able to obtain the information quickly because they were experiencing the angels while in a workshop as well. So that's the reason why I created the cards for that reason.
Okay. Well, you also mentioned a phrase that might be unfamiliar to some people who are listening to the show. You said that you channeled the information that was presented. Could you talk a little bit about what channeling means as you used it, and in terms of how you practice and connect with spirit?
So before to the channeling, it's just basically getting in a place or a state of a meditative state, and connecting with that particular angel, the angel energy, connecting through, I had crystals. So, there's different ways in which you can connect with the angelic realm. You can use crystals, you can use colors, you can use essential oils or incense and things of that nature. So I have a crystal for each angel that resonates with each angel. And so what I would do is I would get in a meditative state and connect with the angel through by meditating with the crystal and allowing whatever information that particular angel would have me to share or to actually put on the angel card. So I would just get myself in a position to just have a conversation and connect with that angel, again, while meditating, and just put the question out there, what would you have me to actually put on the angel cards as far as the information? What type of information would I need to put on this particular card in the area of abundance or in the area of the inner journey or relationships? Because the A.I.R cards is 3 decks in one, and each deck is the 16 angels, right? So it's 48 cards, and so each angel is represented in each deck. And so that's what I would do. I just would be still. And like my strongest way in which I connect with spirit is through hearing. So I would listen, and I would, allow the information to come through me, and just, take notes and so that I would know exactly what I would need to put on each card based on the different areas.
So as you gather the content of the card, that's just one component. So each, we're talking about designing then an actual tangible object. We already know that it's going to be a card, but there's a lot more that goes into then the functionality. Because there's a size consideration, there's the graphic and the design, and then the presentation. Now, in your case, you did not outsource or collaborate with anyone in terms of the art and the card themselves. You did all of that yourself?
Yes, and it's so funny, and I'm glad you asked that question, because I tried to outsource the graphics, because one of the things is, and we probably all can relate to this, when we have something that we may feel like our gifts and our talents aren't good enough to actually produce something as sacred from my perspective, or from my point. I looked at my angel cards as being very sacred, right, in terms of what was coming through me. And so after, seeing different cards and seeing how beautiful and how intricate the graphics and the art was on the cards, I didn't feel like I had enough skills and talent to actually create cards as beautiful as the ones that I've saw or experienced, which wasn't very many in terms of experiencing them, but I've seen them. And so I tried to reach out to different artists. I actually reached out to different artists and and they all said no, that they could not help assist me. And it's so funny that every time it's something that it is for me to do, every door that I knock on or every avenue that I try to obtain assistance, it's always the door is always closed. And then when I let go of my fear or judgment of my abilities, is when I'm able to open my heart. It's when I open my heart and allow it to come through me, is when I'm able to actually produce something that I know it is, uh, um, in alignment with what was already, because I understand that it's just a matter of the manifestation of what is already done in the spiritual realm. So it's just letting go of any blockages and opening my heart to allow it to come through me, just like channeling the verbiage or the information on the back of the cards. I had to do the same with the graphics. So, yes.
And was that kind of exciting for you then as you were doing it, or was it more stressful? Or,
Well,
I mean, like,
no, it was, well, like what I ended up doing is I again, I just kind of, I got myself in a meditative state, and after I, again, had to came to the had come to the conclusion that no one was going to help me, then all of the stress and everything went away, because I had experienced something similar prior to these particular cards coming forth, and when I was wrapping jewelry, crystal rose quartz, and I had so many people that I tried to have to assist me or actually do it for me, and they said no. And when I opened my heart to allow it to come forth, it was just like mind blowing. I had no idea that I could do it. So this was another one of those situations. I remembered the experience I had prior and knew that, and got excited about the fact of what was going to come through me, right? So I was just said, okay, I'm just gonna humble myself, open up my heart, and allow it to come through me. So I was excited about how, about in terms of what would unfold as a result of that whole experience. So the actual angel wings that's on the A.I.R cards are the same wings that's on the employing the angelic realm cards, the angels on assignment cards, and then the background was the part that's new and that ended up being really exciting and beautiful to me, and even like the colors that was given in reference to each deck, resonating with the different areas. So it was really exciting as I allowed myself to open my heart and just saw the unfoldment of the cards coming in alignment with what it was that I needed to do when it concerned the graphics portion of it.
well, and your cards, like you said, they're not something that I guess part of the whole thing of using a divination tool is that you're using it to communicate in certain language and symbols and energy between the higher realms and yourself in a way that it makes it accessible, which is a lot of times what we have challenges in understanding the communication. And so things like oracle cards come in handy, certainly as a way to gain it's almost like learning the words in the alphabet, like at elementary school. Once you learn the basic adding and subtracting, then all of a sudden you're able to actually do more complex equations. Once you learn how to the communication with the oracle cards, then many people are able to kind of move away from those because they understand then how their guides generally tend to show things to them symbolically. But in the case of your readings, the cards, like when I receive the reading from you, there's an actual component of the system that is very personally delivered through you, and that is through your connection with the light language. So can you talk about what a a typical reading, not say like your workshop, but like a typical reading then with the A.I.R cards, what does it entail? Because it's not just pulling the cards and shuffle them out and then
Right.
reading. And okay.
So first, I want to say that when I initially created these cards, again, they were only, my intention was for them to be uh, flashcards, just flashcards meaning information, providing information to individuals so that they can, learn what the different angels' name mean and how to connect with them and their assignment or how they're available to assist. So when I first started reading, I had no idea I was going to be a part. I was a part of a holistic fair at Unity North in Atlanta, and a lady came up to me because I went on a couple of days prior to the fair, and she said, I would like for you to do a reading because the person who was organizing was saying, oh, Tracey has created some angel cards. So she just automatically assumed that I did readings, and I was like, oh my God, and I started talking to the angels. I was like, okay, so I have someone that wants me to do a reading, and this is my conversation I'm having with the angels, and I'm like, I don't have a clue, so I need you to help me. So what actually happened is that I listened because I had a very strong connection with the angels, and so when I first began, I heard loud and clear that I was going to utilize my light language. Now, I've been, using my language for a number of years, but it was just for me to enter into, my connection and praying. It was like a prayer for me. But when I heard my angels say, use your light language so that you can activate their heart in order for them to receive, activating heart, meaning opening up their heart so that they can receive what's going to come forth in their reading. And so I was like, okay. So I actually just followed the guidance of my angels. And so, again, the cards are abundance, inner journey, and relationship. And when I first began, I would have the individual to choose which area that they desire to receive guidance from in terms of their reading. And what I always let the individual know in the beginning that I am a guide, and I guide you to your answers. I don't give you any answers, and so that's always something that I always let them know. And that when I pray in the light language, there's also a message that will come through that will bypass your head and speak directly to your heart, and that whatever it is that you desire to receive will come through the reading in the cards as well as the light language. And as I continue to do my readings, one of the things that was added because I created something that's called the 12 Layers of Love, I was being led to do something that is called a heart scan. And the 12 Layers of Love points to the manifestation and experience of love within your heart. And so the layers of love points to like joy and peace and forgiveness and passion and intimacy, knowledge, power. Those are the different things that we experience within our heart. So what I would do is I always let the individual know when they sit in my seat to receive a reading, it's because their heart arrested them and sat them in my chair, because they have been living in their head and their hearts have been sending a message again, and they have not been receiving the guidance that they've been seeking, because they're stuck in the logical aspect of their processing and trying to understand what they need to do or decisions that they need to make, but it's their heart that will reveal it to them. So I would actually have them to ask their heart a question in terms of what area is blocking them from experiencing and receiving the guidance that they have been seeking. And so when they go within and ask their heart the question, which layer is being blocked, energetically or emotionally blocked, that's keeping them from fully manifesting their desire. And so I would allow them to pull 3 of the different layers out of, a beautiful crystal heart bowl, and their heart will reveal to them what layer is blocked. And then at that point, we make a decision as to, they would say, okay, if they want to receive from their abundance, the inner journey, or the relationship deck, or all three. And at that point in time, whatever is revealed in terms of their heart scan, as far as the layers, then I would have them to listen to their heart, to allow their heart to reveal to them which area is blocked that's keeping them from receiving in abundance, if that's what they're seeking answers or guidance from, or in a journey or relationship. And it's really, really amazing. My angel cards, I always say, are an entity of their own, because I do not ask any questions of them other than what area that they would like to receive. And whenever angel cards, the angels come forth, I always say, I don't choose your angels. You don't choose your angels. Your angels have already chosen you, and that they just want you to know that they've been around you and they're available to assist. And whenever the cards come forth, it's pretty much they're floored, because again, the cards speak for themselves. They speak to their heart immediately, and it's just so exciting. And I just smile, because I know that they've had an encounter, because I didn't ask them any questions. Whatever it is that they were seeking and desiring, it always comes forth through the cards. So it's just really amazing how when I first created the cards, I had no idea that I was going to be doing any reading, and how now that I am doing it, and I'm so excited and truly grateful to be able to assist individuals in the A.I.R cards coming forth, and me being able to do the readings to assist.
Well, I've sat across from you a couple times, and even as you just were talking about it, my little heart was saying, boom, boom, boom. So I guess the angels are still connected from the readings that we've had. But one of the things that we do on the Psychic Inside show is at the end of the interview, we do have generally an opportunity for people, if they wish to have readings, if the guest is open for it, then of course we invite callers to call in. But the system, if your A.I.R cards, was a little different. So as we were discussing a way to be able to connect with the audience so that they could, observe really what was going on, is that you agreed to provide a on-air reading, which is a little longer than normally what we would do, to a member of the Good Vibe Tribe from my Facebook page. So I had a little contest in the commentary post, and I'm very happy to share that our winner was Daphne, who is going to be joining us on air for a reading tonight. Now, please understand that this is a public show, and so these conversations are happening, but I believe that what happens on these shows is helpful for other people who may never have had a reading before, who are curious about it. And so I appreciate when guests are willing to discuss, or to the degree that they're comfortable, of course, their spiritual business, if you will, in public forum. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that the readers are willing to basically, give these services as an example as well. And so just kind of setting that framework up this evening, to understand that our spiritual conversations are actually very, very personal and intimate. So we don't take that lightly here on this show. And so I did want to state that disclaimer before we get started. But, Dr. Tracey, you described a little bit about your reading. And so what we're going to do for the next several minutes, if you all will indulge, we're going to be able to tune in and take a listen here as Dr. Tracey connects with our listener. Daphne, welcome to the Viberarian show this evening. Thank you so much for supporting my page and being a member of the Good Vibe Tribe. I'm very happy that you commented and that we could connect you for this reading tonight. Welcome to the show.
Greetings. Thanks for having me. Hello, Ms. Daphne. Hello, Dr. Tracey. Thank you for doing this as well.
Now,
My
Daphne, you
pleasure.
tuned in on the show last week. That's the post that we were talking about that everyone commented on? Did you, or 2 weeks ago? Excuse me. Did you heard Dr. Tracey's interview? What
Mhm.
stuck out for you in terms of our conversation about her cards
Oh
or her
gosh,
interview?
so many things honestly about the entire interview. It really resonated with me in a way that none of the others have yet. I mean, they've all resonated with me, but this one just really struck a different chord. And I think it's because I heard my reflection in
Mhm.
Dr. Tracy's story, and even the fact that she has created her own deck was very intriguing for me and in line with the way I am going right now for my own journey.
Yay. I love hearing that because that's really why I do what I do is to, those stories, we're all walking stories. And so oftentimes we pass people in the highways and byways and we don't stop to find out who they are and where they have been and where they're going, which is really what's most important,
Absolutely.
And so these shows, I mean, they give us a time for people to hear, and we don't know when people are going to hear these episodes because they're all available on the YouTube, and we know nothing ever dies on the internet. So, but
Mhm.
so Dr. Tracy, did you have anything like any other housekeeping kind of guidelines before we get started with the reading for Daphne or our audience?
Well, only thing I would say is I always say to everyone just to open your heart to receive, and the only thing that is required of you is to just breathe, okay? And so that's pretty much it. I'm going to have guide Bethany through the entire reading. You're going to be connecting and communicating with your heart the whole time because that's the only, like, in everything that I do, it points to connecting with who you truly are, your higher self, through your heart. And so, Daphne, your heart arrested you and had you to do this tonight because there's something that your heart has been desiring to share with you, and you're going to receive tonight. So I'm excited for you.
Absolutely. I'm
Did you have
excited
any?
too. And breathe. I can do that.
Yes.
Did you have any questions for Dr. Tracy before we get started?
Nothing at this moment. You've been answering a lot of them along the way in the two interviews so far.
All right.
Okay, well, I
So,
will step back and then let the two of you connect. Now, just so you know, we have about 15 to 17 minutes in the program for this particular reading. We can go longer, so if you need to, definitely do, but just so that's kind of in mind, because I know once Spirit gets to talking, it could be sometimes an interesting, longer conversation, but just so we can keep it within the broadcast time so that you're aware. And like I said, I will step back, and then Dr. Tracy, when you're finished and ready to turn the mic back over, then just let me know.
okay, sounds great. Okay, first of all, Miss Daphne, we're as I made mention, the air deck of cards is focused on abundance, inner journey, and relationships. So I would have you to let me know which deck, out of the three decks that you would like to receive from which deck.
Let's do the abundance deck.
The abundance deck.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna do a heart scan, okay? And again, the
Okay.
heart scan points to your heart revealing to you which layer out of the 12 layers of love it may be emotionally or energetically blocked that's keeping you from fully manifesting your heart's desire, okay, surrounding the area of abundance. So the first thing
Okay.
I'm going to have you to do is to focus on your heart and imagine breathing in and out of your heart. And as you do that, I would like for you to ask your heart which layer is being blocked that's hindering you from fully manifesting abundance in your life experience. So And once you do that, after you ask the question, I'll repeat it. Just ask your heart which layer is being blocked that's keeping you from fully manifesting abundance in your life experience. And after you ask the question, then you just say, "My heart is open to receive." That'll let me know that you've asked the question. Okay.
Okay. I am open and ready to receive.
Okay. Well, let's see what your heart says. Okay, so the layer of love that is being emotionally or energetically blocked surrounding abundance is passion. Passion. Okay. And so what I have you to do is just think about what passion means to you. Okay. How would you define passion? So you just, so your heart is saying, the layer that's being blocked is passion that's hindering you from fully experiencing the manifestation of abundance. Okay.
Okay.
So one of the things that I'm like hearing, so like passion points to, like power and energy. So what you're passionate about. So if you are not operating, or fully have stepped into what you are passionate about, and you're just doing things that, or you may be doing things that you just feel like you have to do in order to maintain or to be able to sustain wherever you are, if it's an area of financial manifestation or anything. So if the layer is blocked, the passion layer is blocked, then that means that the blockage is keeping you from fully tapping into your higher self, that part of you where your power lies, right?
Okay.
So there's something
right.
that's, so sometimes, so when we talk about blocks, it could be fear, right? It could be a lack of trust that's blocking the passion. So those are blockages. Anything that is like low vibrational that will keep you from based on like what you might be thinking that I have to do this because I need to be able to manifest, abundance or something, and I can, the what I really am passionate about and desire to do may not be fully, something that will be able to manifest what I need at this time, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow the angel that will come forth, okay, that is going to assist you. And so I'm just going to tell you that one of the angel cards just jumped off the table. So I take it that it wanted to make sure that I did not choose the wrong card. Not that I would worry about that. But so the archangel that came forth is Archangel Raziel. Archangel Raziel. Yes, Archangel Raziel name means secret of God. Okay, and I always point that out because that's very important. That's the energy of this angel, and it means secrets of God. Secret of God. So Archangel Raziel works in the area or operates in the area of quantum physics and sacred geometry and things of that nature. And and like I may mention, like as far as I always put the information on the cards in reference to how to connect with that angel and how, those things that resonate with the angel. So the Archangel Raziel aura is rainbow. And the crystal that resonates with Archangel Raziel is clear quartz crystal. Okay? And I hear you over there. And the focus, I know, trust me, I already know it's already speaking to you. The focus of the angel is intuition and insight. Okay? So I just want you to know Archangel Raziel doesn't come forth for everybody because of the fact that this archangel will not allow you to rush it into, pulling out guidance from it or anything like that. It knows when you are ready. So when we talking about secrets of God, just imagine, the encounter experience you will have in reference to connecting Archangel Raziel. And then, again, the focus is intuition and insight. So the information that is on the back of Archangel Raziel card, it says, Archangel Raziel is now present and ready to assist you in understanding how to create a flow of abundance into your life through mysterious knowledge, insight, divine wisdom, and divine wisdom. Open your heart to receive. So this points to Archangel Raziel. It's time. You getting ready to go to a whole nother dimensional level. I say dimension. We're talking about you tapping into, your higher self. Like when I was talking about the passion, right? It's been your heart revealed to you that the layer of passion is being blocked, because what's happening is that you sound like, yes, a woman or young lady who is on a journey of a discovery and going to a whole nother level in reference to your gifts and what you are called and chosen to do and be, your purpose for being. And so what's happening is, like with Archangel Raziel coming forth, and we're talking about intuition and insight, it's about you tapping into who you truly are and bringing forth those gifts and the things that you are called and chosen to do and be. Like it's time for you to fully step out and manifest and follow your heart and the passion, that the things that causes you to get excited and wake you up in the morning and make you, you want to just do those things that impact and change not only the world but yourself, first, impacting and changing where you are and who you are and how you're showing up in your life every day. And so just know that with Archangel Raziel coming forth and the insight and intuition, and you're going to experience and receive everything in your life from a whole nother level, a whole nother perspective. The insight, the intuition, and the guidance that you're going to experience and receive from your heart, you just trust it. And so as you continue to go, follow your heart and not second guess whatever it is. Just know that your gifts will make room for you and that you don't no longer have to settle for what you've been doing and where you are. You're getting ready to go to a whole nother level, and it's going to be in what you are passionate about and what you've been needing and desiring and wanting to do in reference to, again, changing and transforming your life and then the world around you.
Wow.
So you can share what your experience, did that resonate with you? Is that speaking to your heart? What about the layer of passion that your heart has revealed to you in terms of, that has blockages that need to be cleared in order for you to fully manifest? Share.
Oh gosh. First of all, thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
That was I'm searching for words to describe my experience while I'm listening to you tell me my life. The reading definitely resonated with me. Nothing surprised me at all. It confirmed a lot of where I am right now in my journey and things that I've struggled with and things that I've seen for myself coming down the line. I was giggling and just very taken aback by the whole clear quartz and intuition part of the conversation because I started a journey, well, not started, but I became very intentional last year, around the end of last year, about developing a more intimate relationship with my intuition. And I am a person who has always recognized ever since I was a young child that I operate pretty balanced with both hemispheres of my brain. However, I've been trained to be a left-brain thinker, and so I've focused a lot on developing my intellect muscles over the majority of my life, and I'm at a point where I know it is time to balance the work of my brain and focus a lot on the intuition-driven side and work on that right side and developing those muscles and building them up so that I can really live in the balance and embody the wisdom that comes with living in the balance and the fullness of my brain power. And so that whole intuition insight conversation just really resonated a lot. The clear quartz part made me giggle because I walked around all day today with a piece of clear quartz stuffed in my bra.
Oh, wow.
That's
awesome.
I did not know why I did it, but I charged my crystals last night under the moon. And this morning, when I went to collect them, the clear quartz just really called out to me, and I didn't question it. I didn't fully understand why in the moment, but I carried it all day in my chest. And so for this to come back in conversation tonight was it tickled me, and it was really funny because it's just confirmation of where I'm at already and where I'm going. And the clear quartz also jumped out to me again in two other ways today that I was not expecting, but also not surprised by when it happened. So that part was funny. The whole quantum physics and sacred geometry part was incredibly hilarious as well because, again, my training is left side brain. And so, I'm the logical side of me has taken the lead in a lot of my life. And I call myself, or I affirm myself to be a philhartician, a philosopher, an artist, and a mathematician. And so the work that I am to do has often felt like a secret of God that I'm working to bring forth to the world to transform not just myself but others as well. And so the entire reading and every element of it just made total sense to me. And I opened myself after listening to your interview, the first interview with Joelle. I opened myself up to really doing more intimate work with my angels and archangels as well, and just increasing my knowledge of the angels and wanting to just grow and develop that relationship, because that was an area that I felt a huge push in during your interview. And it's something that had just come into my orbit before, but I never focused too much of my energy in that area. But for some reason, listening to your interview, as you would say, my heart was arrested and it just stayed there. So for all of this to be unfolding so quickly in the last few weeks, and it's just confirming itself all over again, 1,000-fold. So I appreciate you very much. And, thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. And it was my pleasure. And Miss Joelle, we give you permission to enter back into the fold.
Well, I was giggling. Sorry, I was having the giggles too.
Right.
I know
it's when it happens.
Oh my God. And I want to say that, and I want to thank Miss. Okay. Danielle,
Daphne.
Okay,
Daphne.
I'm sorry. I got to come back to earth. I apologize, Miss Daphne.
No worries.
I have Joelle and I are partnering together and doing the Employing Angelic Realm workshop on online course, and Miss Daphne was the first one to actually sign up. And I just want to say thank you on the air, because one of the things that we have to do, and it's all about, the connection with our heart, is to not be afraid, and then just to whatever resonates with you, it's for you. I always tell people that, if it don't feel right, it's not right. But if it feels right, it is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so I just want to thank you so much for, having the courage and following your heart and listening. And like when you say, when it's like at this time, day and age, things happen very quickly, and especially when you're for the lack of better term, obedient to what's being spoken to your heart, or you follow your guidance, that you will receive blessings upon blessings, because we have access to the higher realms and dimension where everything that we desire lies in. As we continue to follow our hearts and what we're passionate about, then it's many blessings to come. And so I just wanted to say thank you for even registering for the workshop. I promise you, this was only a scratch of the surface. You will be truly blessed, and your life and your business will be forever changed and go to a whole nother level. So I just want you to know that.
I received that. Thank you very much. and it's a pleasure for me to be connecting with you all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super excited because, the whole purpose of connecting people together is so that we are elevating ourselves and each other, enlightening and empowering. And so I want to be real clear that I am not the facilitator of this employing the angelic realm. This is Dr. Tracey's beautiful system, and one of the things that is my goal, just like a library, you go and you find classes, you find books, you ask a librarian for help. That's my function on the higher realm. So I'm putting together a collection of resources, and people are the number one resource. It takes people to write books, you know what I'm saying? So I am connecting people who want to be resources to share what they have learned with others and to help amplify that and to make them available. So that's my capacity. And so I'm very, very pleased that Dr. Tracey felt aligned to be able to bring her programming and to offer it to the community through that interface. And I think there are going to be many other things that she is going to be sharing with us that are tools. I'm not just, going to be hosting. I'm going to be signing up and taking notes for myself, too, because the topic is employing the angelic realm. And it's basically, if you're thinking about creating a business, or if you've already got a business running but you want to, look to ways to expand and to really take it to the levels that the divine intends it to be, you want to sign up for this workshop, because it will teach us how to connect with the angelic realm and to be able to work through a very organized way of then having that angelic assistance. Most entrepreneurs are solo people who wear many hats, and by employing the angelic realm, we can multitask, and they're a lot better and more efficient than we could ever be. I don't think you have to do a performance review for the angelic realm when you put them on a task. You know what I'm saying? So, and Dr. Tracey, you actually developed a system because you use this. Like, this is how you learned to connect with the angels, and they showed you how to work with them yourself through your own successful spiritual businesses over a period of years. And so now you turned around and made this available for people. I think that's awesome.
Yes. Like when we are like healers and teachers and those who are, called to assist with the awakening and just all of the things that we as practitioners are on our journey in bringing forth and manifesting. My heart is like, whenever I receive something and I find it to be powerful and life-changing for myself, I always create tools and workshops to assist others, because it's just so amazing. I just can't keep it to myself. So that's the reason why I actually created the workshop, because I was like, oh my God, this is awesome, and it truly works. You know, we have to experience it for ourselves in order to be able to have, you know, obtain the key and have the power to be able to assist others in doing the same. So I am so excited and truly grateful to be able to assist and to share, you know, the information in reference to how to connect with the angels to assist us on our journey in every area. And this particular one is just focusing on assisting business owners or practitioners who are making a difference in the world and who can take it to a whole nother level with the angelic realm on their side. So,
well, I'm ready. Are you ready, Daphne? I know I'm ready.
Super ready.
Yes.
So, very much looking forward to it.
Our audience, you can check out, we'll have the links to this if you're listening on YouTube or iTunes or any of the podcast directories after the show to the replay. We will have the link to register. You can go to the Viberarian on Facebook or drtracyj.com, and there is actually a Facebook event set up, so if you're a social network person, just type in Employing the Angelic Realm, and it's the only thing that will show up with that name. So you can find out the details. The first workshop is April 10th, and the second is April 17th. We have a morning and afternoon slots available. This is a 3-hour hands-on. It's hands-on in terms of you're going to be doing some work. You're not just going to be sitting there being talked to, okay? This is an active experience. It's about 3 hours long, and like I said, you can find that information there. Now, in terms of our promotional push, you know, that's about it for that. You know where to find us. But Dr. Tracey, for people who experience this reading like Daphne received and want to like go more in depth and personal, well, I know that you'll be at the Unity North at the first weekend of April, and that would be for more of like a mini 15-20 minute, I think minimum is the minimum reading that you would have there. So again, it's more of a let's just kind of get you started kind of thing, give you a real quick download. But if a person wants to reach out to do more personal work, then you are available for that, correct?
Yes, and they can visit my website, drtracyj.com, and I spell my name Tracey, the letter J.com. So that's my initial J. So it's drtracyj.com, and on there they will be able to obtain information about the different, you know, being able to experience the heart scans, and the readings is included within the sessions that I actually do. And if they would like to, if they go to the bottom of the page, they can enter that information in reference to signing up for, you know, to receive information as far as the different events and the locations in which I will be doing workshops as well as speaking and readings in different areas. So I would love to hear from, you know, those who are listening. If you have any questions, feel free to just send me an email or subscribe and put in any questions or information, and I will definitely follow up with you.
Well, I am just enjoying our conversations, and I love the fact that I get to meet people like you, Dr. Tracey, and that we're able to reach listeners like you, Daphne. Now, you mentioned putting your crystals outside, and I have to get this in because I'm all about information. Today and yesterday is like the Super Libra full moon, which, you know, there's 2 full moons in a month is what makes it kind of super, I believe. And we're also we just crossed equinox yesterday, which now marks the beginning of spring in this hemisphere, and it's kind of a big energetic thing. I had a Mayan archaeological expert on my show last week on Monday on the Viberarian show, talking with the equinox and why it was important to the Mayan understanding of the god Kukulkan, and why thousands of people travel there every year to check out the energies. And we also start Aries season today, which Aries is the first month of it's the beginning of the astrological year, and it speaks to the rise of consciousness. So this is kind of like a new year for all of us. So your energy might be really excited in that place of where you're getting ready to do like we do in the spring, which is plant the seeds of things that you wish to harvest. So there's lots going on in this world of ours, and if you want to stay connected with the energies, we've got spikes in the Earth's frequency over the last couple of weeks, so people have been getting headaches and dizziness and things, heart palpitations, things of that nature. If all this sounds like, oh my God, I didn't even know all this was going on. Oh, and it was Mercury retrograde. Let me not forget that Mercury retrograde has been happening, which means your computers and technologies and phones might have gone wonky, and you might have had some technical challenges over the last couple of weeks. If you want to know more about what the heck I'm talking about, if this sounds like I'm talking gibberish because you're like, what in the world is conjuncts and eclipses and those, please tune in next week, because I'm going to try to give you a little bit of the 411 each week about the actual current energies that are affecting us as a globe and certainly as a consciousness. So you kind of get a little bit of everything on the Viberarian show, and I'm very, very honored to be able to connect with you to deliver this kind of information. I will be back on next Thursday at 9 p.m., just as we were this week. On Tuesday on the Psychic Inside show, my guest is author and inspiring, he's like a triathlete, an author, and just like a bright, shining, kind of bubbly guy. Author G. Brian Benson is going to be on the show, and I'm super excited because as a librarian, I love authors, so anytime I get to read a book for work, that's an awesome day, right? So I'm really excited about the upcoming program. If you are in the Atlanta area, the Bell Point Gem Show is happening this weekend at the Cobb Civic Center. It's happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I will be up there on Saturday, not as a vendor, but just as a person to go look at all the pretty, shiny, sparkly things and the clear quartzes. And I want to see what catches my eye, because I'm sure that there will be many things that I will have to reluctantly tear myself away from. And I know they have some very giant, like body-size hugger amethyst chunk kind of crystals. So I'm really looking forward to being around all that beautiful earth energy. If you're out there, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram, and I'll be out there, taking pictures of things and connecting with the rest of the Good Vibe tribe who are coming out to get their sparkle on. Definitely look me up, because I love seeing a twinkle in people's eye, because as we know, your vibe attracts your tribe. So everywhere you go, you're attracting somebody to you. I'm glad that I'm attracted to myself, people who are really fun and loving and energetically positive people like Daphne and Tracey and all the other people who are kind of coming together in this new consciousness. So definitely come out and check us out at the Bell Point show. I'm the little lady with the white hair with all kind of sparkles in it. So Dr. Tracey, I thank you so much for sharing about your cards. As everyone says, you can't just get these off the rack. These are something that's very unique to you and the work that you do with your clients and your workshops and your sessions. And so, connect with Dr. Tracey if tonight's reading with Daphne kind of resonated and you would like to see what your heart wants you to know. Dr. Tracey, did you have any closing words for Daphne or the rest of the audience?
Well, one of the things that I would like to say in regards to being able, if you're interested in purchasing the A.I.R Angelic Cards, I have another website, and they're both connected, but the Open Heart World unravel.com is where you will obtain information, more detailed information about the cards, and where you can actually order the cards offline. So it's a lot of information, even in reference to the 12 layers of love and the meditation series with my light language as well. So I wanted to make sure I put that out there. It's the openheartworld.com, and that's where you will receive all the information that we talked about on the radio show 2 weeks ago, as well as the radio show tonight. And again, I just want to thank both of you ladies for allowing me to the opportunity to use my gifts and to share. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, yes, and Daphne, thank you for being willing to open your spiritual self to our listening audience this evening. And I appreciate the time that you share listening to the shows, and every minute of it. I don't take energy exchange lightly, and I'm grateful for every person who even takes the time to put themselves within hearing of the conversations that I'm having on this show. For all of you who are out here in listening land, I wish for you that absolutely you have the most amazing week, and that the blessings just spill out onto you so much so that they flow out of your arms and spill out into the world around you. The light in me absolutely honors the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste.